Hello there, welcome to Bryan Lomax Movie Talk and my review of the new Child's Play movie, the remake. It is directed by Lars Klevberg. It stars Mark Hamill as the voice of Chucky, as well as Aubrey Plaza and Gabriel Bateman. Now I was really looking forward to this one going in because I thought the trailers looked pretty interesting. They didn't give too much away, I don't think. And I liked the tone of it. When I heard the casting of Mark Hamill as Chucky, I thought that was, grade A casting, perfect casting, I think. But does it live up to it? Does it live up to the expectation and the hype? No, not really. It doesn't. It's okay. It's good. That's about it, really. Okay, good stuff first. The themes, okay, this is usually the thing that attracts me to most films. It's the thing that I like to delve into. It's what is the film about, you know? And I do think on a thematic level, the film works quite well. You know, obviously we've got the stuff in there. I mean, it plays like a science fiction film, really. It is a science fiction film as much as it is horror. Obviously the emphasis is on horror, but it definitely talks about the way in which, you know, technology these days, everything is integrated, we're plugged into everything, you know, everything's linked, and there is potential negative consequences for that. Where are we heading, basically, you know, and it does take a look at that. But even more than that, the thing that I got from it, what I felt the film was really about, just as much as that element, is parenting. And the role of the parent, the responsibility of the parent, and the responsibility of people to raise children properly. You know, you give a blank slate to someone to bring up in this world. There is a big responsibility there, and that's essentially what Chucky is. He's this blank slate, but he's put in the hands of a child. You know, this child is essentially the one who's meant to teach him, and obviously being a child, he doesn't have that responsibility that an adult, a real responsible adult, would have or should have. And we also see it in his mother. His mother isn't exactly the most responsible parent either. I don't think she does the best by her son at times, a lot of the time, mostly because certainly the partner she chooses to hook up with, this guy who bullies her son, and yeah, her son really doesn't want anything to do with him, doesn't want to hang around with him, leaves the room whenever he's there. She should really take that as a hint, get to the bottom of it, and quite frankly be done with this guy, especially when we learn some of the things we learn about him in the film. But yeah, I really think it does kind of play as a commentary on the responsibility of adults towards children, to raise them properly. I mean, there's one scene in this film where we see a bunch of kids, 12 years old, kind of sitting there watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Now, I don't care what your thoughts are on you know, showing a film of that kind to kids of that age, but seeing the scene play out kind of speaks for itself, really. There is this absentee, responsible adult kind of syndrome going around. There's no responsible adults in these kids' lives, and that filters down, you know. If they don't have a proper role model, how can they be a proper role model? And that, of course, feeds into Chucky. It's all a bit long-winded, of course, but it is there. It does delve into it, and I do like that element of the film. I also like what they do with Detective Mike here. They make him the next door neighbor, and he's just a nice guy. He's a likable character. He's got a lot of warmth to him. I like the little bits we get to see with him and his mother. So yeah, I like that relationship. I wish they could have gone into it a bit more with him and Andy. You know, this is a pretty short movie. I think they could have built that up a bit more, other than the few scenes that they get. But no, I like that character, what we get of him. Bateman, who plays Andy as well, he's very good, I think. The little actor that plays him, the young actor, I should say. I like his performance. There's many times throughout the film where he really delivers. I just wish the film that he was in was a bit stronger in other elements. As I say, I think where the film suffers is on the horror elements, which is not a great thing when it is a horror film. You know, I think back to the original Child's Play, what Chucky was like in that. You've got a hurdle that you've got to get over with Child's Play, because ultimately it's a killer doll. You know, it's a half-pint little man thing that, quite frankly, in real life, if you saw that coming towards you, you feel like you could just put your foot on it, and it doesn't really pose a threat in any kind of serious situation. But what they did in the original film is make you believe that it was a threat. And here, I don't think they do that, because one, the doll itself just isn't scary. I don't like the design on this one, unfortunately. It's in the light far too much. You know, in the trailers, we got to see it in shadow a lot of the time. That ain't the case, really, throughout the film. It is pretty well lit, too well lit for most of the time. The voice as well, as I say, by Mark Hamill, very disappointing. You know, I was expecting good things from Hamill, I've got to say. You know, I think about his Joker, and yeah, there are snippets towards the end of the film where it feels like there's something there. There could be something there, and I don't think it's Hamill's fault. I think it's the script that he's been lumbered with, and the story, because the story doesn't really require much menace from Chucky in the way that we got with the original. You know, like the original, it was a psychopath that had possessed this doll, so he had that attitude right from the get-go. Whereas here, the whole film is about building up to that. It's about that loss of innocence. You know, it's a doll, it never really had it, but it is that kind of corruption of its soul, if it has one. And it's a very, very steady decline. So yes, even though we get some evil acts from the doll throughout the film, from a vocal standpoint and the things it says, it's still a bit too childish sounding, and it's just not menacing. It's not scary. That's the problem. I don't feel threatened by it at any point. And most of the damage that Chucky does in this is via his ability to hook up to other electronic items, whereas obviously in the original it was all done through him and the weapons he picked up and used directly on people. So yeah, I just didn't find him threatening, not threatening enough. And his friends as well, he makes a couple of friends during this film. You know, he's a bit of a loner character, that's why his mother gets him this doll. Again, that kind of feeds into those themes I was talking about responsibility and things she should have picked up on and looked out for and done more about. Yeah, his friends that he picks up during the film, they're all right. They feel a little bit Super 8 light. You know, that the recent spate of movies we've had over the past few years that I kind of think started with Super 8, but we've had, you know, It as well, and we've had like Stranger Things and stuff like that kind of harks back to those Spielbergian kind of 80s movies and films like Stand By Me, Stephen King stuff, things like that. I feel like they're going for that vibe here, and it don't quite pull it off. I find these characters a little bit too annoying, a bit too grating on my nerves at times. But yeah, they drive the plot forward, I guess. So they do what they need to do at a bare minimum level. There's a lot of plot contrivances as well that kind of keep Chucky in the game. Like one point during the film, I'll try not to spoil this here, but there's times where you feel like he's taken out of the game or should be taken out of the game at that point, but he's brought back in through, yeah, plot contrivances. There's a particular character played by this kind of Jack Black lookalike is the best way to describe him, who's just this greasy guy that, again, he's not really a character, he's just a contrivance. He's one of those characters you throw in there because you want to get them to do something that will then bring Chucky back into the game. Yeah, I don't like to use the word forced, but it does feel like a forced plot mechanic. It's like, you know, we need a device. A device is a better word, I guess, rather than forced. It's a device that you use in the story in order to just keep it going, rather than actually being there for the sake of having something to say. You know, he's not connected in any way to the other main characters on any personal level. So it's not like if this guy gets killed, we're going to care about it. And anything else that he does, once again, we don't really care about. So it's just things like that that are a little bit annoying. The film is well shot. I do like the cinematography on it. I think it's kind of well put together. It's well pieced together, like I say, the way that the scenes are built up and stuff. And there are some moments of humour in there that do land. There's a lot that doesn't. But on the whole, it's straight down the middle, really. It's good. It's entertaining in parts. I just feel like I've got too much of a soft spot for that original film, and I much prefer the direction of that one than this one. If you've never seen that original, then you might get more out of this, I think. But going in, knowing what we've had before, particularly with Brad Dourif and what he brought to that role, this is definitely a bit of a step down. I would still give it a 3 out of 5. But yeah, I think I'm a bit lukewarm to it. I might warm up a bit more to it over time. It's still good. Like I say, a 3 out of 5 is good. You know, I would recommend it. I wouldn't toss it out with the trash or whatever. But I just, yeah, I think because of my expectations and what I was hoping for, I was expecting something more akin to a 4-star film, but hey ho, there you go. That is my thoughts on the new Child's Play, but what about you? If you've seen the film, please do comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you for watching this video, and until next time, cracking.